How do you get experience for becoming a private investigator when licensing requires you to have experience to get the license? I get this question all of the time, and it is about time we explore the deep, dark secrets to getting your PI experience without having a private investigator's license. Now, the first question we really need to ask is, do I need to have a PI license to work as a private investigator? And the answer is, well, it depends. Some states require private investigators to have a license and some do not. Here is a list that I compiled of all 50 states and a link to their PI licensing authority if they require PIs to be licensed. Feel free to pause if needed and jot down information, and I will also leave a link down below so you can have those links at your fingertips. The one thing I must make particularly clear to all of you, it is incumbent upon you to check your state's requirements for PI licensing. There is no way for me to know every state's requirements as they vary greatly from one state to the next. As well, PI license reciprocity, it varies from one state to the next. For instance, California requires a PI to be 18 years old or older and have 3 years of experience with at least 2,000 hours for each of those years, so 6,000 hours experience total. Or if you have a law degree or have completed a 4-year course in police science, plus you have 4,000 hours of experience, you qualify. Or if you have an associate degree in police science, criminal law, or justice, and 2.5 years experience. And you must pass a 2-hour multiple choice exam that covers laws and regulations, terminology, civil and criminal liability, evidence handling, undercover investigations, and surveillance. Oh my goodness, that almost sounds like it is impossible to get a PI license in California, but it isn't. There are many avenues they allow for experience as well. Lots of other states that require experience also allow similar work experience to count. Let's use California's list as an example of some ways you may be able to gain that PI experience in order to obtain your PI license. Now remember, it is incumbent upon you to ensure that you know what your state requires and what counts as experience. I highly suggest you read through your state's requirements to ensure you know them inside and out. I also suggest that you check with your state PI association too and see if they have courses or classes that you can take to help you get the information you need about licensing in your state. Now let's look at some of the allowable work experiences California and some other states count as experience towards obtaining your private investigator's license. First, in most cases, there is a requirement that the experience be certified. You will need to check with your state licensing authority to see what qualifies the certification. Most states will allow for work conducted as a sworn police officer to count toward your PI license experience requirements. As well, most states allow certain military experience to count. I think California only allows it if you are in military police. If you have experience as an insurance adjuster, this can count towards your licensing experience requirements too in many states. Or if you have experience as an arson investigator or an investigator for the Public Defender's Office, this can count towards your license required experience. Now, before we get to the easier, less known ways to gain that experience, let's look at some other more commonly seen experience levels. This one, though, most people do not think about, and that is a licensed repossessor. Yep, if you are licensed as a repo guy or gal, that experience can count towards licensing. And why would that count, some may ask? Well, most people working in the repo world are first licensed and second are conducting some level of investigation in the course of their day-to-day work trying to locate people and assets. I have worked with many repo guys over the years when they come to Colorado looking for someone, and I know that they have access to a lot of the same data and information that a licensed private investigator has. If you have experience as a public records researcher or custodial attendant for a law enforcement agency, that experience counts too. So it stands to reason that if you have experience as a bailiff, that experience counts towards your PI license requirements as well in many states. Now, according to California rules for private investigators, experience for persons who collect debt in writing or by telephone after the debtor has been located, or a person who repossesses property after it has been located is not considered qualifying experience. That is something you must keep in mind. Many states allow many types of work experience to count towards our PI license experience requirements. However, many times there are caveats to some of those allowable experience. Now, you can also count work as an employee of a licensed PI or a PI firm in most states too. But how do you get that experience if you aren't licensed, you ask? Great question. Well, you may be able to get a clerical job or a researcher position or perhaps a job as a report writer. Many firms have other employed positions besides actual private investigators. Now, in those situations, a couple of things must occur in order for you to get that job. First, well, you must be qualified to do the job and tasks at hand. I know I am not going to hire someone to write reports if they have no experience with writing complex and detailed reports. But wait. What is the most important thing that must occur for you to get that position with a PI firm? Well, folks, it is simple but often overlooked. They, the PI firm, must have an opening or a need to hire someone. Just because you have the necessary skills and the desire to work for them, it does no good if they don't need your skills at the time that you are looking for work. Like getting any other job, it will take work and perseverance on your part to find the companies that are hiring for those positions, and you may have to spend weeks, even months, to find someone that has an open position. Again, I know I push this a lot, but check out your state PI association. I know many a PI who got their start doing clerical and desk work for a firm because they met them at a PI association meeting or they saw a job posting on that association's listserv. One of the most common ways for an aspiring professional private investigator to get their needed experience, folks, is working as a process server. Now, many states also have licensing, certification, or registration requirements for process servers too, but many times those are less stringent requirements, and many states have little to no requirements for process servers. Now, you may be asking, how does being a process server get you qualifying experience to be a professional investigator? I am here to tell you, folks, there is a lot more to process serving than meets the eye. You see, I have multiple companies to include a private investigations company, a TSC and bug sweep company, and a process serve company. I know from first-hand experience that there is a lot in common between the two professions, process serving and private investigations. Most people think of process serving as a simple task of delivering papers to people like this.
Yeah, who's there?
Hi, is Mr. Smith here?
I'm Mr. Smith. What can I do for you?
Mr. Smith, I have some documents for you.
Hey, thanks. You have a great day.
You too, Mr. Smith. First off, there is a lot more to it usually than just delivering the papers. Many times there is a lot of research involved, verifying the address, finding photos of the subject to be served, and sometimes locating the subjects to be served, and surveillance can even be involved. And secondly, folks, no service of process ever goes like that. And if you would like to know more about starting up a process serve business, then let me know in the comments down below. And if you would like to know if it is even worth it financially to be a private investigator today, then check out this video.